Hi, I'm Terrence Groom. This is Guy on Games 20, and I'm here, of course, talking about Dead Space 3 and the universe as a whole. Of course, the Dead Space universe as a whole. Sorry that the video's, cut up into parts, but it's gonna take a while, or I guess it took a while for me to, talk about the entire universe of the game. Uh, Considering it goes through multiple games, also the comics and the movies. So, be warned now, I will be spoiling everything, except for, I guess, the second movie, because that's the only thing I haven't seen, and some of the novels, and that's about it. So, just look in the description, you'll see which video to go to for what game, and, what time to go to in this uh, portion of the whole video to skip over whatever game or movie or the comic, if you don't want it to be spoiled. I guess it's a good thing to note, or I guess it's just something to note, is that this is actually the third time I've done this, because the first two times there was a power outage, and I got cut off while I was doing it, and then the second time I tried it was actually the same day, but it was hours later. So when I was going through it, it was so dark, by the time, or I think only within an hour, it was so dark you could barely see me, and I couldn't turn the lights on because the power went back out. But I actually got that happen thanks to E3, which I'm sure most of you saw. That's probably why you're here. And you probably already jumped to the third video, or fourth, depending how long it is. Probably fourth or fifth, I don't know. But if not, you should go there if you're only interested in my predictions for Dead Space 3 and just random things to note about the gameplay. I will have the videos taken straight from game trailers. You'll see clips and stuff, and the leaked pictures from right before E3, so they weren't really leaked. They just say leaked. So just skip to the last video. That'll be Dead Space 3. As far as this and the others before the very last, it's me recapping all the games and discussing mostly just the plot of the game, and then what that has to do with 3, or what I believe it has to do with 3, since I don't actually know. So if you're not interested in the recap, you can just skip to the end, C3, hear predictions, what I think is going to happen because of this. All these right now, or the first couple, are mostly for people who haven't played, maybe you haven't played Extraction, or you didn't see the first movie or read the comics. I'm basically just going to recap things in the universe. Sorry, that keeps getting slightly darker because my screen goes black. But I'm going to explain things in the universe, recap the games, random important things, random important characters, and you can basically just have a recap of the entire universe. Sorry, you can't see my hands do that. The entire universe, and get a feel for what you might have forgotten, or just get a feel for the universe for the first time if you've never even played and you just your friends forcing you to watch this for some reason, as they should, because Dead Space is a good franchise. It's a great franchise. So first off, you see in the picture right now, this is from Dead Space Extraction. Actually, on the left is, who most of you know, is Nicole from the Dead Space 1 and 2. She is Isaac's girlfriend, who's unfortunately no longer with us. She is not. Isaac, of course, is. And the more attractive woman on the right, no offense, Nicole, is actually Lexine Murdoch, who I'll get into in a later video, because I'll definitely take up a lot of time before I get to Dead Space 2. So Dead Space Extraction is the beginning. Dead Space 1 comes out, and then after that, you assume 2, because how the game ends. You know they're gonna have something. But they come out with Extraction, and they're like, it's a prequel. It was only for the Wii, and then when Dead Space 2 came out, you could get the limited edition. Extraction came with that. Slightly updated graphics. Not really important, just random facts. Anyway, it's the beginning of everything. You like the very first level. The character you play as an engineer, and you're going through these tunnels. You're seeing what's basically human flesh. It's human, DNA. And you're going through the tunnels with a group of people. They're trying to figure out, with a group of engineers, sorry, not just random people. And you're going through, and they're trying to figure out, what's happening. Why is all this creepy, nasty-looking stuff all over the walls? And what are these weird monsters attacking us, or just flying overhead? It's actually first person, so that's actually a huge difference from the other Dead Space games. It's not a third person super cool looking game. I mean, it's a cool looking game, don't get me wrong. It's just first person, and it was originally on the Wii, so the graphics of course weren't even high def. Exactly, they weren't high def. Didn't look bad though. It was still a good looking game, first person, and you going through with the other engineers. And sorry, I'm not looking in the camera. I don't know why. I don't know. But you go through. You're cutting. You're cutting through the stuff, the flesh, going through the tunnels, trying to figure out where the stuff's coming from, fix the problem. Like there's one specific problem you're trying to get to an area, and of course you're going through. You're losing people left and right. The main character himself is actually, starting to lose it, being affected by the marker, which was uncovered, just before you went down. And, you go through the level, people are dying, eventually you're alone, and you start to see things, like you see a necromorph come at you, and you shoot, and it's not actually there. And, he's sort of going crazy, everyone's already died. You'll get, like, messages from people trying to contact you, and all you hear is, like, static and clicks, and then things start flashing in your eyes. And the level, goes on. He's getting crazier and crazier, and it actually ends with, a group of people coming down on this elevator, and you see them coming down, and they actually shoot him, the character you're playing as, because he was going crazy. He was going crazy, but they thought it was just like he went crazy and killed his friends, pretty much. But it was the marker affecting his mind. And so he actually dies, and you play as the character who killed him, who's actually an officer, a PSEC officer. The second time I did this, I kept screwing it up because I knew it wasn't CSEC, which, if you don't play Mass Effect, that's the officers in Mass Effect are called CSEC, and in Dead Space they're called PSEC. And so I knew it wasn't right, but I kept messing that up. But you play as him, and he's like an intermediate cop. He's not really like high-ranking official or anything. He's just a regular beat cop, beat space cop. I don't know. On Aegis 7, which is the planet where they find the first marker. And you play as him. There's another cop who's a higher rank. He's a little bit older. Gabe Weller. The main character you play as, I can't really remember his name, so I haven't played the game in a long time. So if I don't remember, I'll just tell you I flat out don't remember the characters. The Gabe Weller is the older ranking official. You also play as him in a specific portion of the game. You actually switch between them, and you see different, their different little adventures where after they get split up in certain parts of the game, one guy's doing one thing and the other guy's doing something else. And so you play through the game as them, and the character that you're playing as now in the second level, who killed the character from the first, he is contacting Lexine Murdoch, who's actually the girlfriend of the first character. And you learn this in the very beginning. They're talking on the phone, and she's like, be safe or be careful or something. Excuse me. And of course, generally speaking, everyone's kind of like, oh, nothing's gonna happen. And then he got shot in the head, which was unfortunate for him and Lexine. That's sad too.